I will start it off. I'm going to surprise a lot of people. Dak Prescott right now is, in my opinion, the MVP of the league. I'll tell you why. Dak Prescott before the season said, I'm going to limit interceptions. A lot of people thought that was a joke. A lot of people waited. They're kind of like the Denver Broncos in a sense. They didn't wait. They criticized him, and I was one of them after the 3 interceptions against the
49ers.
The 49ers. Yeah, against the 49ers. Ever since then, he's been clean. He's only thrown 2 picks ever since then, and he's thrown a bunch of touchdowns. He has 23 and 6, almost 3,000 yards. He's completing 70% of his passes. I know they haven't really played like the hard team that they played is the Eagles, and they lost to the Eagles. They haven't really played anybody else, but remember, it's MVP. It's America's team. The way I think the voters are going to go right now is if in a couple of weeks they beat the Eagles and they finish out the season with maybe one more loss, I think that's who they're going to choose for as MVP. Everybody's going to hype up Dak Prescott. I'm just thinking the way the voters are going to think. And I think right now Dak Prescott is a lot of people's MVP because of the season that he's having, and it's America's team and all this stuff. So I think Dak Prescott is the MVP. So Gilbert.
Real quick off of that, and I'll transition to mine. I feel like when people won't give Dak Prescott the credit because they're so caught up on the postseason failures, like even Mike McCarthy's offense, like ever since that Chargers game and they started feeding CeeDee Lamb, Mike McCarthy and Dak Prescott, they've been killing it, and nobody wants to talk about it, which is weird. They're America's team supposedly, because everybody remembers the postseason failures, the game management for Mike McCarthy. So credit to you, Fernando, for overlooking that. It's the MVP. It's about right now what you're seeing, and he's playing well. But
Can I add to your point? The game that everybody keeps thinking about is the game against the 49ers. And they, for whatever reason, people can't get that game past them. It's like we just remember what happened in that game, and so we're going to punish you just because of that game. Also, to Fernando's point, his QBR, he hasn't played – the quarterbacks who have faced the same opponents, as you said, that they haven't played anybody, his QBR is still 20 points higher than the other quarterbacks who also face those same opponents. So to your point, yes, it's Dak Prescott, but we have to pick other guys. So go ahead, Gilbert.
I think everybody was shitting on him for that because that's who he's most likely going to end up playing in the playoffs. Like it's always been the Cowboys, or it's always been the 49ers. We've seen what the 49ers have done to him. The 49ers and him are not a good matchup. He's a better matchup to face the Eagles. That's why I think in 2 weeks they're going to beat the Eagles because the Eagles need the Eagles need one more loss to get them fired up, and I think to get them to click right away. I think if they lose at Jerry's World, that's going to click in them, and they're going to be like, you know what? F this. Let's get it going. It's Super Bowl time. We got to do this. So, but I mean, I get it. I mean, I get the criticism of all that, but I have been impressed with them, and I've been impressed with him for really like limiting all those turnovers and everything. But I understand where everybody else's judgment is and the way they see it. But I mean, that's the way. But Dan, you know who he's gonna thank at the end of the season? He's gonna be like, thank you to the Los Angeles Chargers for getting me on the right track. And then
that was the game.
When Jordan Love gets into the playoffs, he's going to be like, that Chargers game was a turning point in my season.
I hate all of you. And I hate all of them too. I hate everybody. It's an absolute joke. What a mockery.
By the way,
if you want me to get going, I can get going.
Dan, I have a good one. The Lions haven't been the same since they beat the Chargers. So
there you go. Okay, so now you're trying to dampen my spirits. That's the one team I want to get going.
Hey, they're horrendous defensively, bro. But let me get back to
I've been saying that though. I can't believe
they're a lot worse than I thought defensively.
Lions fans hate Dan, by the way.
I don't understand. Like offensively, yes, they are physical. They want to get up to you up front. They want to run the football.
That quarterback is physical.
They are Charmin ultra soft, dude. Like,
what do you think about the quarterback?
Oh, Jared Goff, he's average, dude. He's not top 10. I don't know what people are saying. You know what's funny? I was about to go back into those comments and be like, where was he today against these bum-ass Packers, dude? Like, Unbelievable. They can't
let's get back on track. But
yeah, okay.
You guys stole my counter, and that's why I can't pick Dak Prescott. He didn't beat the Eagles. He didn't beat the 49ers. And you know how it works. These awards, if you have the best record in the NFL and you're the star quarterback, you're probably going to get the award.
That's why this award's a joke.
It is. But I was not on the Jalen Hurts bandwagon until I saw what he did to the Bills. Like, he dominated the Bills, 5 touchdowns. Okay, that's the performance I want to see from MVP. And he's just so important. Like I get it. Like, you want to do quarterback rankings, but Dan, you can at least appreciate that how important and vital he is to the Eagles system, to winning, the tush push, all that, or brotherly shove. Like, that does not work without Jalen Hurts. So he's doing his job, and then he elevated his game against the Bills there. I know they're not the best team right now, but that was enough for me. Okay, they're 10-1, good quarterback, Jalen Hurts. But it could change. But if like Dak Prescott beats the Eagles in a couple of weeks, if he dominates the Seahawks on Thursday, it could change. But right now, I think it's Jalen Hurts.
I think he'll dominate the Seahawks this week. Dan, go ahead. Who's your MVP?
My MVP. I just want to say, first off, I think this award is a joke. They need changes to most important quarterback or valuable quarterback. It's a mockery of the game, dude. Like, I don't understand sometimes these awards, but whatever. I'm going to go with who should be, honestly, MVP. I think Trent Williams should be MVP. I think that guy brings just a swagger, a mentality to that 49er offense. And the few games that he missed, honestly, they did not look very good up front. They're getting after it, and that's where Brock Purdy has done something that we had not seen him do, which is turn the ball over. I think he missed like 2 games or so, and Brock Purdy he missed 3, and in those 3 games, he had like 4 or 5 picks probably in there. You know, he had 2, I think, multiple pick games. So I think it should be Trent Williams. I'm always going to go with a hog, if not Jason Kelce. I think Jason Kelce is the heart and soul of that Eagles offense. But of course, everybody wants to overlook that because they're not the one scoring touchdowns. So I would take either of those 2. I would love it.
You know what you and Emmanuel Acho have in common?
Nothing. That guy's a scumbag.
He had Trent Williams on as his 4th. Look at his MVP list. What do you think, Dan?
Dude, Tua Tagovailoa. Dude, you should have put Tyreek Hill's ass up.
Hey, look at number 4, though.
This guy's a joke. This guy is a joke. How are we going to – I'm going to say this again for everybody to listen, especially if you're slow learners. How in the hell is Tua Tagovailoa supposedly an MVP? He can't throw receivers open. He can't get the ball there on time. He freaking
focus on the number 4 on that list. That's the one he was trying to get to.
Actually, he led me right into mine. So thank you, Dan.
If this mine is I'm gonna jump through the screen.
No, it's Tyreek Hill. Because
exactly,
even though he has not a great quarterback who can get the ball. I mean, I saw that the Dolphins Raider game, and he missed Tyreek by like 10 feet. It was terrible on a bomb.
It's a joke.
So I'm gonna go with Tyreek Hill. He's got 1,324 yards through 11 games.
Yeah,
he's gonna get to 2,000 yards. If he does that, for me, it's kind of like if you break a record and there's not a lot of quarterbacks who are out there. We talked about if Dak Prescott beats the Seahawks, if he beats, and then you have Jalen Hurts, who, he's still throwing picks. He hasn't been as good as last year. We have a lot of if quarterbacks this season who might win the award. So I want to give it to another position, as Dan and Dago said, like it should be called the quarterback award because that's usually who it goes to. But 88 receptions, 1,324 yards, 10 touchdowns already. If he gets to 2,000 yards and breaks a record, he should get the MVP.
This would be a good poll, by the way. MVP or picks here.
You know what's the craziest part? The person next to him is Keenan, and he's 200 yards behind him. Then the next guy after that is like 200 or 300 yards behind Keenan. It's an absolute joke.